What is going on, Elf Hunters? Hope everybody is having a marvelous, actually, not a marvelous Wednesday, because that's for Monday. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful Wednesday. There we go. And nice gap up here on the SPY to start the day. Yesterday kind of made sense. We just kind of trended higher into the close. We've been pretty bullish the previous few trading days. Yesterday was mostly just a resting day, so it just kind of made sense. We kind of just traded higher as we went into close yesterday. But today, nice gap up, 0.6% of a gap up. Ooh, I can't wait till we look at this on the daily, because I'm going to talk about what this gap could possibly mean tomorrow if we gap down below it. So, nice gap up, pullback. First 30 minutes kind of makes sense. We've been pretty bullish. Got a pretty large gap up. People gonna lock in profits right on the open. So that makes sense. Then once the moving averages here on the 5 minute kind of catch up, they just push it higher there for the next couple hours. Here over the past hour, we've seen a little bit of a pullback. I don't think it's anything crazy yet. Obviously, you can see we're mostly just forming a big, doji on the day. We got a low here and got a high up here, and we're kind of in the middle, kind of where we opened the day. So, yeah, that's kind of just how things are going right now. Qs, nice open today here on the Qs, and we got, what was this, 0.9695 of a gap higher, so almost a 1% gap higher. Again, big tech in the U.S. continue to just outpace everything else. It doesn't even matter. That's the nature of the bubble. There you go. The gap up, pulled back very quickly, mostly kind of sideways in the first 30 minutes. Nice run up here in the midday. Coming back down right now. Kind of the close is going to be important today. IWM also had a gap up, obviously traded lower, down roughly about 0.5%. DIA, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, nice gap up here. Quick pullback, nice run, nice pullback here over the past hour. RSP kind of looks like the DIA as well. Nice gap up, and it has definitely pulled back the first 30 minutes. Nice little pump there for the next 30 minutes, and then kind of sideways and dropped off here about the past hour. So that's kind of how things look here over the past trading day. And yeah, RSP looking pretty good there. DIA kind of just hanging out sideways there. IWM. What's really kind of interesting here on the IWM is looking at back-to-back days where we have gapped up to the same spot here, which is at the lower end of this kind of open gap that we had, and we filled it yesterday, but we kind of gapped up to that spot again today and faded down from there. So we could do possibly back-to-back candles that look like this. Typically, you don't see that too often, especially on indexes, too much where you have a gap to a price level and you kind of fade that price, and then you do that back-to-back days. You don't typically see that on indexes. Every now and then you'll see it on stocks, but it's a pretty rare candle formation. I even forget what it's called. It's so rare, but typically it's kind of like a top or a bottom. It's not a continuation. So to me, this kind of says the IWM is probably going to be coming lower, pulling back down. That's just kind of the way I look at that right now. Anyways, Qs. All right, Qs and SPY here. What's really important, what's going on here, is this gap. This gap is going to be really important because we have a pretty large gap here. We have an open gap. We have not traded in this price level at all on the Qs. Between the high what we had on Monday, what was that high on Monday? High on Monday was 424.73. The low that we have today, 426.12. So we got about 3 points there. We have never traded. I'm sorry, not 3 points. Sorry, to a point and a half, about a point and a half. Sorry. So we got about a point and a half where we have never traded there on the Qs. SP 500 SPY, same kind of deal. The high here, 485.22 on Monday. Low Today is 486.41. So yeah, I mean they're both got about a little bit over a point of an open gap here. Now the interesting thing will be is what we do tomorrow, because we have a rather very important. I'm going to just skip over to this company real quick. TSLA, rather very important earnings tomorrow from Tesla. So, Nvidia, or not Nvidia, but Netflix had earnings last night. They crushed everything except for earnings, but the market didn't care. Hey, we grew subscribers and all that stuff. That's one reason why the market, gapped up today. Everything's looking pretty great. But you got Tesla here now gapped up 3 days in a row, about in that same price range that it did today. Not quite as high yesterday, but that's 3 days in a row. We've kind of opened at that same spot and we sold down from there. And we've got lower highs that have definitely come in every day. So we have a 3-day kind of pennant pattern coming in here. If we have a significant gap down here, Tesla's going to weigh a lot. If they miss big time and they have a huge move down, they do have a large enough weighting. Tesla's not as big as it used to be on the S&P 500, but it's not a small company, right? It's still like in the top 30 or so. So yeah, I mean it's going to be real. It's going to be real interesting if they have a bad earnings, because we go back to the SPY and Qs. We could possibly have an island reversal on the indexes. So if we gap down and open back to where we were yesterday, below, I'd say below 485, below 485 on the SPY, and then 480 or on the Qs for, I'd say 425, 425. If we open below both of those numbers tomorrow, we're going to have an island reversal here. That could possibly be the top. I'm not going to call that. I'm just saying if that happens, I mean, that very much could be it. We'll see. We'll see. It's not going to like just crash lower here in the next couple of days, but it would be a pretty good island reversal there on the SPY and the Qs. And everybody would see it. Everybody would see it. So it's going to be an interesting one to see what happens. That we have had a pretty large gap up there. All right, let's continue on. VIX. You would think the VIX actually would still be down. Interesting. So you get the VIX actually 2.5% higher here, moving higher throughout the day. Definitely off the lows. So yeah, you got the VIX here not really dropping off, and you got the SPY and SPY and Qs actually doing pretty well on the day. So you got a lot of put buyers coming in throughout the day today, even on the gap up, even though we traded higher on the SPY and the Qs, you can see that intraday. I mean, we have just continued to move higher here on the VIX, and a lot of put options being bought there on the VIX. So yeah, be careful tomorrow. Be careful tomorrow. Today is not a bad day to possibly be looking to take it off. DXY. DXY. Well, we had a pretty good day yesterday. We definitely popped over the highs that we've put in over the past week and a half or so. You were thinking you were gonna probably continue higher. Then we got this after the market closed for the DXY yesterday, we just traded lower all night until this morning. The market opened. Look, 8:30 my time, 8:30 my time, 9:30 Eastern. That's when the market opens, and you see the dollar was at the lows and it just started getting bought up. There's nothing that goes on that really impacts the dollar as far as like economic data or policy or anything that goes on at that time. So just kind of an interesting time period for the dollar to find legs. And basically that just means people were taking the opportunity to get bullish on the dollar. It may be sell out of equities. I don't know where they were closing out, but people flooding into the dollar there. on the market open. GLD gold down, even though the dollar's down, even though the dollar's rallied throughout the day. Gold has come down. Okay, gold might be in a pretty good consolidation here for a little bit. We did have a pretty good run, but it kind of looks like we're starting to maybe get into something like this. Maybe comes in a little bit lower, but it seems like we're going to set in a pretty good basing here for a while. I wouldn't imagine we just have a drop off. I'd imagine it's just going to get quiet. It's going to get sleepy. And then sometime down the line, probably months later, maybe in the second half of this year, we'll probably start breaking higher. But I would just continue to probably just look to be bullish on gold. I don't think I would look to be bearish for any reason, but yeah, that's all I got on GLD. 10-year yield also looking pretty good yesterday. Getting a little bit of a continuation today. Bouncing off that 10 EMA. Nice pop higher. Hasn't taken out that wick from Friday, but it's looking like it'll probably do it tomorrow. But yeah, 10-year yield looking pretty good. 10 and 2 inversion. 10 and 2 inversion looking pretty good. Nice pop higher today. Pushing higher today. Still just in this choppy range. I don't think we're going to go screaming and break these highs here. We'll probably at least chop a couple more times. Other than that, it definitely doesn't seem like we're going to roll back over. So, HYG opened higher, came back down. Yields have been bullish mostly throughout the day, so that kind of makes sense. HYG intraday getting some pressure put on it. LQD just holding on to the support level. It doesn't look like it's going to hold here over the next couple days. We're going to have economic data over the next couple days. What we're going to get durable goods orders, GDP tomorrow, and then Friday morning core PCE, personal income, personal spending. So it makes sense that here over the next 2 days we'll probably see bonds drop off. And taking a look at the TLT, yeah, it's not holding it. Basically at the lower end that it's been in over the past week. So yeah, not looking good there on the TLT. Let's check that sector rotation. All right, sector rotation. I would imagine tech's going to be pretty good on the day. Pretty good, man. All right, here we go. We got XLK, and it's going to be really important to kind of see how it is today, because we do have such a large gap on the out there that, you know, intraday performance compared to the gap performance is going to be very important to kind of tell. XLK, obviously, biggest outperformer there. XLC outperforming as well, along with energies and financials. You can see XLC actually had a great start to the day. Great start. But over the past hour and a half, not looking too good. So, okay. Looks like it started definitely selling down before the S&P 500 did. XLY discretionaries, underperforming. It's going to be a whole lot of Tesla, I'd imagine. Industrials underperforming. Healthcare underperforming. Staples, utilities actually coming back here over the past 30 minutes or so. 30 minutes, you can see like utilities definitely underperforming big time. But over the past 30 minutes, while the market's been trading lower, people have been going to risk off. Utilities looking pretty good there. Real estate looking pretty good. Materials, real estate and materials are also the biggest underperformers on the day. So let's take out the gap. Let's take out the gap and see how things look. So XLC, take out that gap, they're underperforming, right? They're underperforming. Definitely haven't hit a high since this morning. About a little bit over an hour after the market opened is when the XLC kind of topped, and they've been steadily giving it back ever since. XLK starting to really kind of sell off here. Energies also, financials also outperforming there. So, but yeah, communications underperforming, staples, discretionaries, industrials, healthcare, all underperforming there. Healthcare, materials underperforming, as well as real estate, the biggest underperformer. And yeah, you can see that move there on utilities. Utilities really over the past 30 minutes. This is about the only sector that's going up over the past 30 minutes. I guess healthcare a little bit, but it's definitely a lot less noticeable, a little bit more flat kind of going on there. But yeah, utilities, as the sell off's been going a little bit longer, utilities been looking a little bit better.